All right, well, we got some big news to share.
All right.
This is actually a week old, so it's,
Maybe you already heard of it.
it's broken news already. It's not breaking, it's broken. Okay, so magicians mark 100 years of sawing people in half. He came, he saw, he conquered. This is out of London from Reuters. 100 years ago, last Sunday, illusionist P.T. Selbit put a woman in a box on stage of London's Finsbury Park Empire and sawed right through the wood, creating a magical classic. Now, 100 years on, magicians from around the world will be getting together online this weekend to celebrate the centenary of that landmark performance.
Centenary. Ooh, good vocabulary here.
Thank you, thank you. This took off and became the most influential and most famous illusion,
Michael,
in my opinion, that there's ever been, said magician and historian Mike Cavaney, who is writing a book on the illusion. The magician wasn't doing this trick to an inanimate object. He was doing it to a human being, which raised it to a whole new level. In the original version, the saw went through, the box was opened, and the person emerged unharmed. Down the years, magicians developed refinements because, they got to all top it.
Right.
With the two halves pulled apart. Celebrity magician David Copperfield came up with his own version, the Death Saw. Such a great name, Death Saw. Where he was the one tied down to a platform as a giant rotary blade sliced him in two. Sometimes he actually got injured, Copperfield said in an interview. Wow. I got cut a few times by the blade because the blade was a little bit off. Stages are different in every theater you have, Copperfield said.
Being a stage performer yourself, I'm sure you can relate to that.
Yeah, I've been injured by the blade many times on stage. Get myself... Well, it wasn't on stage; it was off stage. But yeah, I got a concussion during one speaking gig in Michigan.
Day. At least you didn't fall off the stage.
Concussed.
We do hear about that.
Haven't fallen off the stage yet.
Lots of chiropractor visits after that gig.
I haven't sawed.
Seed?
I haven't seen anyone. I haven't sawed anyone on stage. I did almost kill someone with marshmallows, though.
This is actually not the best story. I don't know if we want to tell that story. Chubby Bunny. We used to do the Chubby Bunny thing.
Gotta put the kibosh to that one. Because, it's a dangerous game. It's a dangerous game.
All right, so
the question is,
the point
100 years of sawing people in half. Has anyone here watching ever seen this illusion of any... Have you seen the sawing? In any sort of form. I'd like to know. I don't know that I ever have.
Were you drawn to this because of our Mr. Bean stuff we were doing on YouTube the other night? The kids are
I don't know if I saw
back into Mr. Bean. We're coming back full circle. They were into him for a while. And we watched this magician one where he was supposed to be in the box getting sawn in half.
Oh yeah, that's right. And then he just wanders off backstage. It was the knife trick. Where they're putting knives in the box. Or whatever. So,
similar.
Do you think, is it surprising that it's been 100 years?
Do you
think it should be less, more?
Yes, I would have guessed more like 60 or 70. Just maybe I'm not giving our 100-year-old ancestors enough credit that they had the technology to pull that off.
They just
I don't know.
Back in the Salem witch trial times, they just did the cutting. That's all. They didn't. There's no illusion to it. But it is interesting. It's like you never know what's celebrating an anniversary. But I've got another story. This one isn't.
Before you move on, let us give a good tip. And I don't know if this is on Netflix, but what's that show we've been watching? Magic for Humans.
Yes, Justin Williams.
Yes. What do we watch that on?
Netflix.
That's fun. 22 minutes before bed. The kids love it. I mean, it really, if you're the type that you're really black and white about things, you probably shouldn't watch it because it blows your mind, but it is very fun to watch.
It is one of those where you're just trying to figure out how does he do that?
And his personality is really cool. He seems like he'd be a true adultitis fighter.
Rachel says she was sawn in half in 8th grade.
Is this like two truths and a lie?
And that's
Are you kidding?
Why she's in a wheelchair to this
day. Rachel, we're gonna need to know more about
I'm gonna
that.
need more details
I
on that
want
one.
to know how they do it. Can you tell us that? Because obviously you know now.
Let's see.
Do you know now? That's what I want to know.
Here's an interesting thing. Danny Donut says our friend Eddie Carosa Jr. and his band were the original Kenosha Kickers in Home Alone. He has great stories of filming with John Candy.
Oh my
That
gosh!
is
The guys
awesome.
that were in the U-Haul are a real band. Little known fact.
There you go.
I guess
now you know.
It's not little known. Danny Donuts knew it. But
Yeah, he knew it.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. All right, you have more news?
Yes, I do. Now, this one isn't as many years, but it's probably even cooler.
All right.
All right, you ready for this?
Overhyped. Let's do it.
These women, Jill Stretton and Kathy Alexander, have been pen pals for 70 years.
Oh, what?
This is not a recent picture. They have formed a true friendship from 10,000 miles away.
Aww.
The long-lived letter-writing relationship began in 1950 when 12-year-old Stretton, who hails from Australia, was given Alexander's address by a family friend who'd recently returned from a visit to Scotland.
Aww.
Back in the day, it could take up to 6 weeks for a long-distance airmail. That's Christmas packages. Back in the day. Back in 2020, it could take 6 weeks for Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime to get your stuff here, right?
To airmail to reach its destination, but the pair felt an instant rapport after their first communication that's only grown stronger with time. They didn't meet in person until 1982.
Whoa.
Something's telling me this might be the 1982 picture.
Yeah.
As they feel if they truly grew up with one another, sharing life's milestones through their letters. She's just like one of the family, Stretton told ABC North Queensland, and we're still as together as we ever were 70 years ago. It is quite an achievement. Stretton and Alexander reunited 2 more times, 1988 and again in 2000, and have never stopped writing one another. Along with hopes, dreams, plans, photos, and family updates through the years, their missives have sometimes contained small mementos that have gone on to become cherished family keepsakes. While they still write letters and send holiday packages with technology omnipresent, Stretton and Alexander have bowed at least somewhat to the times, although video calls are a washout. For longer epistles, they've resorted to the internet, but they affirm that nothing takes the place of a handwritten note. We do tend at the moment to send postcards of where we have been and what we are doing, rather than write big letters because we email now, Stretton admitted, adding cheekily, aren't we clever?
Oh, this is heartwarming.
Pretty cool, right?
Oh my gosh. I think that is really inspiring. I mean, that's got to break some Guinness Book of World Record somewhere, right?
That's pretty cool. Yeah, 70 years ago, they started this. It's like they're not even 70 years old. They're older than 70. They've been doing this for 70 years.
Wouldn't it be neat to have a book that has the highlights of their conversations over the years? You could almost make a movie out of that.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Screenplay. By the way, Barb, did you see what Barb said? This is kind of cool.
This
Barb.
We just shared your show and the fact that you're wearing that t-shirt with Eddie. Hopefully he'll tune in. He played at our wedding, and we see his band play regularly in various places pre-COVID.
That's pretty epic. I kind of want to meet Eddie now. That's like on my bucket list.
I know. I'm trying to think. I wonder which one he was. Was he one of the drivers?
I don't know. I want to watch that whole scene again. So
I heard a lot of that was John Candy improving, which is was classic.
Surprise, right? That's
Have you ever had a pen pal?
Yes, I did. It probably lasted about 3 letters, but
3 letters?
I think I was in 4th grade, and everybody got paired up with somebody from another school, from some other state that the teacher knew. And it was an assignment, and so it was kind of lame, you did a couple things, but I liked the concept of it at the time, but I was in 4th grade, so there you go. How about you?
Jill was 12 years old.
I know, that's about that.
So she was into it.
Yeah, I didn't follow through, I'm sure. So.
Oh, well, here we go. Eddie just replied back and said he's watching now. Hello, Eddie.
Hello, Eddie.
Nice to have you here.
Eddie's probably like, why are these people talking about this? So we just moved to Sheboygan, Eddie, which is why this whole we're big in Sheboygan is all the rage right now. The shenanigans that we're talking about.
And
Sheboygan shenanigans, as we're referring to them in hashtagging. So.
And watched Home Alone over the Christmas break, and of course the great line from John Candy that the Kenosha Kickers are big in Sheboygan.
So the fact that you were in Home Alone, that is epic. That is so epic.
That is pretty cool.
Right? And little known, fact about Sheboygan, I don't know if this is true about other Wisconsin St. Vincent de Paul's, but there's a lot of polka records at the local St. Vinny's. So I think polka is definitely a thing here, which is epic.
And it's now a thing in our home.
Right.
Kitchen dance parties will never, ever be the same.
Yes, we definitely are incorporating polka. So thank you for your inspiration, Eddie, and thanks for being here. How cool is that?
Very
Thank
cool.
you, Barb, making that connection.